Hey Fit Vegans in the making, I hope you're doing great. Today I'm gonna share with you 3 hacks for rapid weight loss in quarantine. So we all still in social isolation for the next couple of days. And if you listen to some government officials, we probably will stay like this for a little bit longer, sadly. But I'm gonna share with you how you can make the best out of these following days or weeks, and how you can start losing your weight in the quarantine in the fastest way possible. So let's just jump right into it. Hack number 1, you have to track what you're doing with your weight loss. If you do not track your weight regularly, and by regularly I mean once every day, you're literally shooting blind on your weight loss journey. Now, this doesn't apply if you have an autoimmune disease, if you have an eating disorder, if you have a flawed eating in the first place. But for most people, you have to track what you're eating and how your weight loss is going. And this really reminds me of marketing agencies. Now, if you run a business, if you're a professional of any kind, or if you're advanced in your career, you will realize that there are some marketing agencies that will not track how your progress is going with your ads or what they're doing for you. Essentially, they're shooting blind on their journey. And the reason they're shooting blind on their journey, because it takes away all their accountability. And there are also some trainers, like personal trainers, fitness trainers, online coaches, certainly, that will just never track what they're doing for you, and they will not track if you're actually on point with your weight loss results. There's some trainers that tell you that do never step on the scale, and this just simply does not make sense, because you will not realize how much weight you're losing. So that's why you need to track what you're doing with your weight loss, also in quarantine. So we all have a weighing scale. I recommend stepping on the weighing scale daily after you wake up in the morning, after you went to the toilet, for big guys, so to speak. Then you simply step on the weighing scale every single morning, so you get a broad overview of your weight. Because the saying is true: what gets managed gets measured. Now, as in my opinion, the looks of you are more important, the progress picture, so to speak. That's what I would recommend focusing on in the long term. So most clients that come to me and they want to look better, they want to have their six pack, they want to be more confident in how they look, they want to feel like they control their body. And one of the biggest KPIs, so to speak, in that area is progress pictures, is how you look in the mirror, because that's what matters, frankly, the most people the most. So what you're gonna do is simply taking a progress pictures once every week or once every 2 weeks. Now, with my clients, I schedule this in their calendar, and they send me a progress pictures once every 2 weeks, usually, depending on what they're focusing on at this moment in time. So you have progress pictures, you have tracking your weight, and then if you really want to put your weight loss on the next level, you track your nutrition. Now, this is still hack number 1. Just track stuff, because you don't know, if you don't track stuff, you're just shooting blind in any endeavor. And the third point in the tracking category, tracking hack, is to simply track your nutrition. So for 1 week, you write down exactly what you eat every single day. Now, this is really painful, and most people that are watching this will not do this. And this is because this is quite hard to do, and it really faces you to embrace the truth of what you're eating currently on a daily basis. And it feels painful to write down that you drank a Coke, and it feels painful to write down that you ate a Snickers or a Mars or whatever you're into. And that's why you should do this, because you really need to face the truth when it comes to your weight loss. So we write down for 1 week what you eat every single day. And then after this 1 week, you can start to iterate, because you see, okay, this one is good and this one is not good. And then you start to make changes. So hack number 1 is to start tracking stuff. And then hack number 2 is to realize that the biggest lever when it comes to your weight loss is nutrition. It is not exercise. It is nutrition. It's way easier to lose weight if you change your nutrition than just by exercising more, because there's a bigger lever on nutrition. Most of us need about 2,000 calories or so in a day, and if you would eat something like 1,500 calories 1200 calories, you will still be able to operate quite good while you would have a caloric deficit of like, let's say 500, 800 calories. Now this is a little bit complex, but bear with me. What matters is, what I want to tell you here is that it's way easier to lose 800 calories in a day from nutrition than it is from exercise, because for 800 calories you need to run a couple of hours to achieve this every single day. So nutrition is the biggest lever when it comes to your weight loss, and this should also be a saying of no excuses during this quarantine. I think most people are gaining weight during this quarantine, yes, because of the stress. We all feel stressed out, we all feel nervous, it's an unknown situation, but also because we are searching for an easy way out. We are searching for an excuse, and we start doing what everyone else is doing. And what everyone else is doing, frankly, is panicking. But this should be one of our biggest opportunity, because if you work right now on yourself, you'll be so far ahead of the competition in every area that you're setting out for it to do, because everyone is panicking, everyone is stocking up on toilet paper or on ammo or on guns while you keep improving. And this really shows after a month or so of quarantine. So the second point is to realize that the biggest lever is your nutrition. And if you combine this with tracking, as we've seen in hack number 1, then you're really gonna boost to the next level with your weight loss. And the third point that I would like to share with you today is to simply realize, because if you just apply those tactics to you with the tracking of your weight loss and if they're actually analyzing your nutrition, you're gonna lose your weight. Now the third point that I want to share with you, and the third hack, so to speak, is that when you lose your weight, which you will do if you just apply those two tactics relentlessly and stick to them for a decent amount of time, it's still rapid, but it takes some time to lose your weight, then you will lose your weight. But once you've lost your weight, now this is crucially important, because if you do not apply this tactic, you will run into the yo-yo effect. Now, once you've lost your weight, what you need to do, you will need to realize that you will always have a weight problem, just in lesser degrees. Now, this is also what Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous, I don't know how this group is called, what they tell their clients when they finally get sober. They tell them that you will always have an alcohol problem, just in lesser degrees. Okay, so it's a daily fight. You're still in the war against your old self, which was drinking alcohol. And the same is true for your weight. You will always have this problem, just in lesser degrees. And the way I really like to think about this is like, imagine you're in a house and there's a big beast in there. There's a dragon, and you will be a knight. And during this entire period of life, the dragon has been dominating you. The dragon has been telling you what to do. Now, this is a very fantasy example, but really bear with me here. And the dragon has been telling you what to do. It's been dominating you, and you just surrendered yourself to the dragon. And after a certain amount of time, you became stronger, and you finally tamed the dragon. But this is a dragon that you can't really kill, so you simply put it in chains and put it in your basement. Okay, so you have this huge beast in your basement. But it doesn't control you anymore. It doesn't attack you anymore. But this beast will always be there. This beast will always be there. And this is the same with weight loss. Imagine weight loss is the dragon, and our excess weight is the dragon. And for the entire life, it has been dominating you. And after you lost your weight, you've put this beast in your basement. And when it's in your basement, it doesn't do anything. But it becomes a problem when you start feeding that beast, when you start letting it out, when you start giving it food and make sure that it tries. But if you ignore that beast, and if you keep the chains shut and your door to the basement shut every single day, and you make sure that the doors are locked every single day, you will never have a problem again. But if you ignore this advice, the beast will take over your life in no time. But if you ignore the beast will get weaker over time, and weaker over time, and weaker over time, until there's not a real threat anymore. But the most important thing here is time, and realizing that you should never feed that beast, that weight beast, so to speak, that you just dominated before. Okay, now this was a long example regarding weight loss, but you just have to realize that you will always have a weight problem, just in lesser degrees. And just because you lose your weight doesn't mean that you're off the hook. You need to make sure that you keep the weight off and to keep the fight up. Okay, so these were the 3 tips that I want to share with you today, the 3 rapid hacks to lose your weight, with the 3rd hack of keeping the weight off. And this was number 1, track your weight loss progress, so to speak. Number 2, realize that nutrition is the biggest lever on your weight loss, so really no excuses. And number 3 is to realize once you've lost the weight, which you will lose if you just apply those 2 hacks to your life, then it is your obligation to keep it off and keep that beast under your control. Okay guys, thank you for tuning in and see you next time.